Well, at least we got to see how Tom vs. Jones would have played out. The fight ended in a no contest due to the Jones classic. Double eye poke ends the fight. And now there is also to note, he almost poked Aspinall in the eyes earlier in the fight too. He feinted and switched stances forward with his fingers all over Tom's face. That was the moment where Gane lost his footing, so he didn't extend his fingers once. The ending to it was the second time. And not gonna lie, Gane was performing very well. Much better than expected. He defended the early takedown easily, like super easy. Pulled up Tom's arm with the overhook, pulled his hips away, posted on Tom's hips to keep separation, evading the takedown altogether. And then for the rest of the round, he was just jabbing Tom in the face. Tom just doesn't have great striking defense. He keeps his chin up, and this has always been an issue of his. And that fast 81-inch reach jab just couldn't miss. Just moving around and pot-shotting the entire time. Other than the leg kicks, Tom landed a few right hands, some grazing, this one especially flush. He landed a jab, a few right hands. It wasn't as if Tom was just out of the fight. He was landing his own shots too. But due to the damage to the face caused by Gane, as well as defending the takedowns, is what truly made it seem like Gane was just taking over. Ciryl Gane definitely had more moments with those jabs, causing Tom to leak out of his nose. Pot-shotting with the jab as he was moving laterally, and even as Tom advanced forward, Gane would intercept him with the jab flush, and much of that was based off of his footwork. That was by far the biggest issue from Tom Aspinall. He didn't cut off the cage too much. A few times in the fight he did, but he allowed Gane to free roam the octagon so many times, and it makes it more difficult to land the punches and line up takedowns if you don't cut him off, because Gane did not replicate the same mistake that he made against Jones. He wasn't digging in with a power shot, overextending himself for a counter takedown. That is the reason why he got taken down by Jones, but in this one, he was mostly staying behind the jab and low sidekick, long-range weapons that he's using to keep distance between him and Aspinall, and Gane was fighting in a way that forced Aspinall to have to engage on him. He wasn't going to get the easy takedown that John Jones did, due to how different Gane was fighting compared to when he fought Jones. Aspinall threw a few front kicks to the body, but didn't amount to much with those. Now, we don't know how the fight would have played out after the first because, with the investment on those low kicks, potentially it could have paid off later in the fight. Tom has never been past the second round before, and it looked like with that pace, it eventually would have stalled like a third round. And Gane looked in excellent shape. USADA wishes they were still around for this one. No, but he was in great shape and was fighting so well, but then he had to poke him in the eye. He said he learned from the Jones fight, and we thought he just meant wrestling. Double eye poke. And Ciryl Gane poked him when he was throwing a left kick to the body, but Tom sidekicked that supporting knee inward, causing a slight imbalance. So as Gane threw the kick, he extended his hand forward, opened up his fingers, and put him straight into both of Tom's eyes, ending the fight. He really dug his fingers in there. And now a main event of a pay-per-view, the heavyweight title fight, ends in a no contest. Like, what's a worse result than that? So anticlimactic. And Ciryl Gane is now about to get his fourth undisputed title shot. In his last 7 fights, 4 of those are undisputed title shots in which he has yet to win that title. But of course, this one is deserved, And I guarantee that the betting odds are going to be very close to a pick'em. Because for this one, Tom was a heavy favorite. Everybody was picking Tom. But with the way the fight was playing out, it would be foolish to count out Ciryl Gane at all for the rematch. I thought that Ciryl could not defend the takedowns. I thought eventually Tom would take him down, but I guess training with that Iranian wrestler did wonders for his takedown defense. He brought in an Iranian national champion, Puya Rahmani, to prepare for Tom's wrestling. And as many people know, Iran has a rich history in wrestling. This was enough. Bringing in this guy improved Gane's wrestling skills from getting taken down by Ngannou and Volkov. And we saw Volkov fought Almeida. Like, that guy's not a wrestler whatsoever. Still happy he won though. So he went from getting taken down by Volkov to stopping Tom Aspinall's takedown. That is impressive. Now, to be fair, Tom only shot twice. Once when he grabbed the kick, he tried to take him down off of that, but Ciryl Gane was too elusive and evaded him. And then the second time, Gane defends the takedown through technical means. And for the rest of the round, he decided to kickbox with him. And I don't know what to make of the tactic there because he was definitely working on the leg kicks. And possibly that could have been his game plan going into the second and third, so it makes the takedowns even easier to secure. Slow Gane's movement, and then the takedown shot will be open. But he runs the risk of getting hit by some big shots there. His face was getting peppered, and what if Gane does not slow down? What if he gets no dividends for that investment? Ciryl Gane has been 5 rounds before. We know he has a sort of cardio, and His legs have been kicked before and he never really slowed down, so I don't know. But that's the aggravating part of this. Like, we just don't know what the fight would have been like going into the second and third, and what can we make of Aspinall's cardio, you know? I would have loved to see him go into a third round and see how he handles someone like Gane. Not much really happened in the first to determine who was actually going to win this. That was only 4 minutes of a heavyweight fight that could end with one single punch. Well, one thing is for certain. Aspinall absolutely was not able to beat Gane the way Jones did. That was a big question going into this fight. Can Tom beat Gane the way Jones did? It's sort of like a competition between them, and we get a staggering no as an answer. Tom could not beat Gane like that. But with nuance, Gane has improved. He seemed to have honed in on his wrestling progress since losing to Jones, and especially for this fight. He was fighting intelligently, not overextending, and kept his approach simple. Jab and low side kicks. That was pretty much like 90% of what he was throwing, which generally are safe attacks to throw. But nonetheless, eye pokes are ruining the sport. Gane has to close his fist, but Gane was also winning that fight. And I did not expect that. I thought Gane would win the striking, but I didn't think that he would stop the takedown. And Ciryl Gane was very upset with the ending of the fight. Bro, he's the only reason the fight ended like that. In a fight that he was winning. I mean, I get it, you know, all that work goes away because of one mistake. But he's going to learn from this fight, go into a rematch with Tom, and make the necessary adjustments to close his hand. But I think he's going to perform very well in the second fight. I do not foresee him poking him in the eye again. Hopefully not. I think Gane is still going to come out there with a similar game plan, but now Aspinall knows what Gane is going to do. He's going to be pot-shotting off the jab, and his takedown defense is probably better than he anticipated, and I think the rematch is going to be much more competitive. I will say this though, if Ciryl Gane could develop like Fort Knox level of takedown defense, I don't know if there is a heavyweight that beats him. Now, this is coming off, of course, the John Jones loss and a few other fights like Volkov should have been a loss. But the guy's striking is so difficult to handle. If you could just get to that level of takedown defense, theoretically, it would be very difficult to beat this guy. Because I just don't see any fighter successfully striking with him except Volkov. And Alex Pereira. He had a reaction to this fight by saying, "Let's make heavyweight great again." He was laughing at Tom not being able to continue. And there's been other people who are knocking Tom for quote-unquote quitting, saying that he's the heavyweight champion, he should tough his way through it and all of that stuff. Well, I think it was smart for him to not continue for two reasons. Number one, he's compromised from the eye pokes. And number two, he was already losing with both of his eyes. It was smart for him to not continue. But on to the rematch we go, and that was a horrible end to a pay-per-view. The co-main event wasn't necessarily like too exciting either, but I'll get into the other fights on the next video. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one. What'd you guys think of the fight? Who are you picking in the rematch? Because now I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna side with Ciryl Gane. And does this shut the debate as to who would have won between John Jones and Tom Aspinall? Styles make fights, and Jones and Gane are quite different, but I'm not going to lie, that was not an impressive performance from Aspinall. Even though there was only a first round to analyze, but still, Tom is a first round fighter. We didn't see much good out of him except leg kicks, which are naturally a weakness to Ciryl Gane, but we thought takedowns would be as well. So perhaps Gane is going to make that adjustment, knowing that Tom is going to be targeting the legs. It's going to be interesting. The tactical adjustments is the most intriguing aspect going into the rematch. And how do you guys think that is going to play out? Like, what do you think Gane is going to do differently? And what do you think Aspinall will do differently? And I'll see you guys in the next video.